Where is Melania? This is a question that has loomed over much of the Trump term, as Donald's wife has spent most of her time in New York. Well, of course, except for the contractually obligated appearances at some state dinners, the UN, and any time that she can get in on the grift. If Melania can sell a shitty crypto coin or publish a book that no one wants to read, then she'll show up for her husband. But other than that, her absence has been pretty obvious. And I think now, after what was just caught on a secret camera, Donald Trump wished Melania was staying out of the picture more, because video was obtained of them fighting on Marine One, and it is blowing up a story about their blown up marriage. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into that fight on Marine One, I want to start with what led up to Donald Trump getting on Marine One this morning, and that was him screaming about James Comey.
Because that's how it went, where they made you go and take a mugshot. Is this more about justice, or is it about revenge?
It's about justice, really. It's not revenge. It's about justice. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it. And Comey was one of the people. He wasn't the biggest, but he's a dirty cop. He's always been a dirty cop. Everybody knew it. And it's, as far as the case is concerned, he gave an answer. It was a strong answer. He then verified it a couple of times, because that was a very important answer. If he would have equivocated, if he would have been like a little bit less sure, that would have been very bad for him. So he gave an answer. The only problem is for him, he didn't think it'd be caught, and he got caught, Peter.
Guys, I must be a little confused, because Donald Trump and all of MAGA said that we have to tone down the rhetoric, and we're dehumanizing our political opponents by pointing out the very obvious fact that Charlie Kirk was a bigot. He despised anyone who looked different from him, and he would let you know that. But Donald Trump can say the sick radical left and make the case that James Comey is subhuman. Those political enemies, no, it's fine to go after. But when we point out the guy who said, "I don't think empathy should exist," maybe doesn't deserve our empathy, it's a whole national crisis. This is why I refuse to engage with this game where the right demands an apology, or that it's our fault for political violence in this country that Donald Trump laughs at, excuses, and encourages. So I don't want to hear any of that, especially from our president while he is screaming and melting down, and going further and attacking Democrats with this lie about the economy right here before we get into his screaming Melania fight.
Are you worried about American workers suffering if the government shuts down? And do you have plans to come?
Well, we're going to see, but the radical left Democrats want to shut it down. I mean, it's up to them. We have a great economy going. You saw the numbers yesterday. They're fantastic. The economy's doing well. Prices are down. We have virtually no inflation. Everything's going good. We're respected by every nation in the world. And you know what happened? The Democrats want to shut it down. And they want to shut it down because they want to give billions, ultimately trillions of dollars to illegal migrants, people that came into our country illegally. Some of those people are criminals, but they came into our country illegally, and they want to give them the essential over years, trillions of dollars, and our people aren't going to stand for it. They also want to have open borders. They want to have men and women's sports. They want to have transgender for everybody. These people are crazy, the Democrats. So if it has to shut down, it'll have to shut down. But they're the ones that are shutting down.
What does Donald Trump think is his reality? Did he win the most sweeping mandate in history in a blowout election in which he now has both chambers of Congress? Or is he always the, little baby Donald victim? Oh, I'm the victim. The Democrats are being mean to me because they don't want to kick millions of people off of their health care. Which is it, Donald? Because Democrats aren't shutting down the government. Democrats aren't the ones responsible for your shitty tariffs, ineffective tax on all of us. What are Democrats responsible for, Donald? Are you still saying this is Joe Biden's economy? Because you can't. You can't get out of that. Just as much as you can't get out of the fight that you were caught in with Melania. Trump and Melania in finger-pointing exchange on Marine One. Donald and Melania Trump got into a heated exchange aboard Marine One after returning from the United Nations General Assembly. Footage shows the first couple sitting opposite each other on the helicopter as it landed on the White House South Lawn. In the video, shot on Wednesday night, the president can be seen pointing a finger at his wife, who shakes her head in response. Moments later, the couple disembarked the chopper, walking hand in hand across the South Lawn, looking somewhat tense. Last year, experts said Melania was unlikely to move back into the White House full-time if Trump returned, serving as a part-time First Lady, and that appears to have come to pass. She is based mostly in New York, while her husband remakes the West Wing to his taste in D.C. There are often long periods when the 55-year-old former model is not seen in the Capitol or alongside Trump on his regular public outings. She skipped the August 15th Alaska summit where Trump hand-delivered her letter to Vladimir Putin and was absent again when he welcomed Vladimir Zelensky and other European leaders at the White House days later. CNN reported on August 23rd that Melania had only been seen in public on 19 days during Trump's second term as president compared to 40 at the same point in the previous term. She was with Trump during September's state visit to the United Kingdom, but according to the Daily Mail, the pair slept in separate suites inside Windsor Castle. The incident aboard Marine One comes as Trump continues to rage that he and Melania were targets of what he called 3 very sinister events at the UN: a frozen escalator, dead teleprompter, and muffled audio, demands he's now wrapped into an official complaint. Author Michael Wolff told the Daily Beast podcast in May that Trump and Melania are effectively separated and live separate lives. They clearly do not in any way inhabit a marriage as we define marriage, Wolff said, and I think maybe we can more specifically say they live separate lives. They are separated. The President of the United States and the First Lady are separated. Yeah, that didn't really look like the most loving exchange. I'm not sure I don't really make that action at someone when I'm being very polite and complimentary. I'm not, you look really fantastic right now. And then Melania's response, "Oh no, please stop. I don't like the compliments. Just shut up. I'm not sure that's exactly how that went down. I'm sure that's what Carolyn Levitt is going to try to spin up. But clearly these two, Michael Wolff said it. It's obviously true. They're separated. They're living separate lives. They're not together. And that's not a shock to anyone. But of course, they always will participate in the grift together because nothing brings a couple together like crypto shitcoins. And Donald Trump talked about it, of course, misrepresenting the truth about corruption when he was screaming at reporters this morning. But a more apt description of the true corruption inhabiting this White House came from Senator Ossoff right here.
There's a deeper story here about corruption in American politics, which is something the Democratic Party needs to focus on, which is that Trump, in my view, is a symptom of the deeper corruption in our politics. Like, how is it that we have a demagogue who promises to tear it all down, elected twice to the presidency? It's in part because much of the American public has lost faith in our political system.
Totally agree.
And with just cause. Since Citizens United, this political system has been corruption on steroids. And that is a big part of why policy doesn't serve ordinary people. So as Trump poses this sort of radical threat to the rule of law and the Constitution, things that we have to protect, we can't just become mere guardians of the status quo. We have to be about change and reform. And money in politics is like the root of all of this. We have to focus on that. You know, the vast sums of corporate and billionaire money in our political system, with or without Trump, are why ordinary people are so ill-served by elected officials and by Congress. We need to take up that mantle and run with it. And if we don't solve this problem, even once we put Trump back in the box in the midterms and once he's gone, the country will still be in deep trouble.
Senator Ossoff is bang on. I know it feels weird to call Trump a symptom when he is so front-facing, so constant in our lives. The chaos, the corruption is so obvious, but it's true. This is a broken system. Now, he promised he would change it. He has, by making it more broken and more easily suitable to his corruption, but he changed it. And that's, of course, for the worse. Democrats also need to promise to change the system, but actually fix it and not use it to protect themselves, enrich themselves, and hurt their enemies like Donald Trump has. There's no better example than that, of course, than what happened last night with James Comey, along with how Donald Trump is using it to distract from the Epstein files with Lawrence O'Donnell, broke down right here.
When James Comey referred to his family in that statement, he obviously is including his daughter, Maureen Comey, former federal prosecutor who was fired by Donald Trump and Donald Trump's Justice Department. She was the lead prosecutor in the Ghislaine Maxwell prosecution. She is the federal prosecutor who knew more about Ghislaine Maxwell and her prosecution than anyone else, and Ghislaine Maxwell's co-conspirator in sex trafficking, Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump made sure that she was fired before Donald Trump sent his criminal defense lawyer, his personal criminal defense lawyer, to Florida to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, now that Donald Trump's personal criminal defense lawyer is his deputy attorney general. He had to make sure that Maureen Comey was out of the way before he did that. That's one of the people James Comey referred to tonight in that video statement, and that quote, that line that he used, "Fear is the tool of a tyrant," is what his daughter, Maureen Comey, said when she was fired by the Justice Department in an email to her colleagues. She said, if a career prosecutor can be fired without reason, fear may seep into the decisions of those who remain. Do not let that happen. Fear is the tool of a tyrant, wielded to suppress independent thought. Instead of fear, let this moment fuel the fire that already burns at the heart of this place. A fire of righteous indignation at abuses of power, of commitment to seek justice for victims, of dedication to truth above all else.
We have to talk about all of this corruption in conjunction with each individual event in which Donald Trump is using the presidency to profit, to protect billionaires, and to hurt the people who will speak out against him. Hopefully that's not us soon. I would prefer if the feds didn't bust through the door, but do you know what? We're going to keep on fighting and call them out no matter what. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to support the show in another way, you can become a subscriber, free or paid, to my Substack, linked below or right here. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.